Sierra Leone's ever-growing youthful population still continues to grapple with high rates of unemployment and other challenges. Despite the enormous challenges, young people are still working on realizing their potential. With emerging entrepreneurs and innovators, Youth Encounter on Star Television and Radio is a program that showcases successful young people, discuss the challenges, and provide recommendations. Join Mohammed Basir Sanusi PM. It's Youth Encounter on Star TV on Channel 21.
We don't come far, and so far the achievement is massive because now a lot of schools now the high school sector, and we'll talk about the tertiary institutions. They embrace dialogue in terms of debate and public speaking.
But you see now how they get national events and now they put debate as part of the program. In the past, used to be I just like speech and state when everybody go home.
Yes, of course. That brings again fond memories and a feeling of accomplishment. We were part of the 2018 presidential debate. We were one of the committee, members in ensuring that we roll out that presidential debate where a lot of people appreciate right across the country. So foresee the state actors then, the debate, get a very good feeling, where they get out to the country as a whole. Now, like you saying, a lot of people don't they appreciate debate because you see now, even at the top level, government stakeholders, you see all the debates. So like from the top and bottom approach, you see now even young people down there, then they appreciate debates now, dialogue. So we believe dialogue is very, very important in having a peaceful society.
I will go back and can look at on our previous activities. Then may let you tell viewers them about debates, the kind category of debates when and when I can get them. And later I'll go talk about the transforming education as now be the theme for the International Youth Day this year. We mark 20 years and the celebration starts by Resolution 54/120 from 1999 United Nations Convention on Law.
Yes.
This is our Youth Encounter. They come to you live on Star TV on Channel 21. Send a message to the number 031 045 068. 031 045 068. We could tell until you say the chief, they make law we have to. We carry on discussion with Mohamed Wedewutri in the studios as it is served as the National Secretary for the Sierra Leone Debating Council. For a lot of people who don't hear about debates, they just come to them waiting, watch them live on TV or happen for dinner at all when debate they happen. But the understanding is very low. There are people say if we lettered, not understand the kind of debate they will get and how to go about them. For the benefit of our viewers, them, you have to tell me how the whole idea of debate come about and the kind of debate they will get.
Thank you so much. I think I so please again for tell people but the debating council, the structure of the debating council, since 2010, as an institution, we don't see how best they propagate the culture of public speaking and debate, train people for letting them able to express themselves well in our society, and we don't serve as well as a civil advocacy group for ensure critical issues that may border around government and what have you, they are well discussed and see how best those recommendations that would have to come out, government follow them. So now we get different types of debates and way we don't carry on, and that's they deal with international best practices as well, because for the international level, just like we do now, we get categories them. For instance, the high school people then get their own type of debate where they do, where they call Karl Popper, where they get three speakers aside. They go through the format. Yeah. We got three speakers aside and we get them timed. Everybody they come up with their own issues and see how best it defending position, and in that we get cross-examination. So just they talk no more just like that. You need for make sure you make sense and you well aware of what you they say, because your opponent get for cross-examine you for verify exactly what you they say. That's very interesting from the high school level. Now that gets for do again with policy recommendation, because at the end of the day, when we get then critical issues and they put forward in the debate, we find out a lot of recommendations that they come way for address problems them. And debates, that one thing where debates they do. Debates they ensure say we get solutions to problems them. You get me? So like it's not just but speaking or for speak big English or what have you. You get for speak sense to the issues them because then sense and the way they make then get for end up, become possible recommendations, or policy, action. So these are the things. Now for the tertiary institutions, we get what we call the British parliamentary style of debate, or we can generally say the parliamentary style of debate. Like these are two internationally acclaimed formats, the Karl Popper and the British parliamentary style of debate. The parliamentary style of debates they expose young people them to the rigors of parliamentary lawmaking process and what have you. Because I tell you, we're not going to be effective policy makers if we're not able for debate issues constructively, objectively. Because now from there we they able source out policies then we go work for the country. So like in that British parliamentary style there we get the government and the opposition. So it can be so interesting. Like that is what we did. Now that's with the future in we annual flagship debate program we get for do it the National Intercollegiate Debate Championship. Annually in December you they see tertiary institutions them they send representatives then come into the fray and debate.
And so over the years, this intercollegiate debating competition on the hill some dividend. We don't see a lot of impact, and most of them people are working on competing on a platform can go any partner the world and get the best practice. Now look at over the years, I don't they look like and how the fear don't they happen in terms of funding, turnout, and the impact we don't create to youth in life.
Well, I would want to look at first the positive side. The impact has been very much massive. Now, since we introduced the debating council to this country, being the first recognized debating institution, we don't do a lot in ensuring that we provide that platform where go make young people and consider and discuss and identify talent. We not only identify talent like you say, haven't identified them, we prepare them for make international representation. And I tell you, like some of us, in 2014, I get the opportunity to represent the University of Sierra Leone in Benin, and of course, we perform extremely well. And then experiencing the other members again from the debating council, don't they, get similar experience of international, representation. Now, the one that we don't represent, we like mostly they are not members of the debating council, but we provide a platform for them. They know they do extremely well. And I tell you, we need as a nation for ensure say we somewhat carve a niche in ensuring that we not only focus we attention to the entertainment and what have you sector in terms of bolstering our tourism potential, but we have to look at education. Within education they do. When you go to the international arena, you get the prospect to meet with different people and different culture. You interact with people, and what you put on in that international arena could be, a source of admiration for people. And that, can invite, tourists into the country. The way you present, the way you excel in the international arena, can likely, become, an impression for tourists. And I tell you, so far so good. We get a lot of networking, opportunities and way they in debate representation at the international arena. We go sell, we progress in education by virtue of we performance. The attire them they put up, all and they speak volume of we culture, how people then go appreciate we culture in the international arena. And I tell you, the beauty of what they do so all, even in the representation they make in the international competition, is that if in the long run, if we get a more formidable debating institution and we see government support very much formidable, we get the prospect for make we go to host international tournaments in because the international debate tournament and they get a rotational policy where they ensure say they move from one country to the other based on the number of representation then countries and they don't make. So like this now one of the things that where we like actually don't they draw the attention of the government to, that we can use education like debate representation as a source of tourist attraction. This is what it this is exactly how it happens, for other country. Other countries, like let's just take a number, for instance, in sport. Debates for us my form of sport because it gets sporting rules and regulations as well. Like in sports, countries and the way they know, like Brazil football, they know them only for that. We can attest to that. By virtue of that, we don't see say many times tourists and what have you, they visit that country more often. Now, we get to the entertainment industry fine, the Ministry of Tourism, we also done this try for service, we engage them. The Ministry of Tourism, they were like then too much focus on the musical side and the pageantry side. Let us come again to education. Their representation they make now in the name of the country. So if we give more preference to that in terms of funding, like you did mention, we dey face serious challenge. Many times we dey struggle very hard for send the best speakers them out of this country for represent the country, not to only themselves, not to the institution, but for the country. We dey face so many challenges, like the aspect of writing proposals or engaging stakeholders as being very
I'll
difficult.
get for do salami for make it more sustainable. There are times I really got a longer support from the past level. Nasi and other people, banks and can on our aid, but when they come to how can spend, when I can appreciate them because of them come in. When I forget a sustainable strategy, we're going to help the debate in council for doing activity, and the winners don't know how they get for them to represent Sierra out of the country. What sort of strategy now for use?
I think say when you talk about effective sponsorship, given the fact that we dey deal with education, John F. Kennedy go say we progress as a nation can be no swifter than we progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. Which will they do so? We dey transform education. A lot of people we get that conservative view of education only when you go to the classroom. That is where you learn. You go through your essays and what have you. That is it all. No, this is an internationally acclaimed form of education. Having people take the for express themselves on issues, speak to issues. We believe say the Ministry of Education gets a responsibility for support them venture they are fully, because you need forget a human resource we not only get in terms of competence, but they can perform, they can express themselves, they can speak to issues. That is why the parliament gets some challenges as well. Not too many parliamentarians as it should be get the perhaps I would also say the boldness for speak to the issues. A lot of people a lot of times when they see our parliamentarians they concur. Yes, not everybody go talk, but let we begin see most of our parliamentarians them they speak to the issues. From that perspective, I believe say we dey move as a nation, because not only when we speak to the issues and they see say we dey arrive at very good policies where they better we country. So we still believe say the Ministry of Education need for play pivotal part in ensuring.
And to understand, like even do recommendations for other NGOs,
yes,
as well as donor partners for support.
They have the connection.
Let's look at the provinces. How best know the benefits from debate. At times the capital don't take almost everything. They will tell you say free to not to salon, and when NTR can come, it's difficult for each of the provinces, and they are brains. There are people in place and we're very talented. We get the opportunity for thrive to the highest heights as the one in the capital they do. How do I for decentralize?
Very good. As it is now, the debating council, we thank God, 8 to 9 years now is a massive achievement. It will not go appear too like well, I was also say because of the financial challenges and what have you. But as it is now, we don't extend with tentacles in a different part of the country. We believe say Freetown is not Salone. Since na Salone debating council, with all the challenges, we don't ensure say we get chapters them, debating chapters them, the provincial areas them. And whenever we get debate program, we not only left them to institutions the way they need at the metropolis na Freetown. We can invite institutions them, we can go there on outreach session, we can train them, and we get them abreast with debate and public speaking and what have you. Like for instance, the National Inter-College Debate Championship, quite last year, 2018, we see where Unimac, institution from the province, now they win them.
Yeah.
And the final will take place now the Well of Parliament for the very first time, not only in this country, but within the sub-region. And I'm even sure beyond. We get the National Intercollegiate Debate Championship Grand Final. Now the Well of Parliament, I tell you, it be so interesting, and it be so na it be sight, na be a sight to watch for see young people and they speak to issues them we get for do it with national development. It be so good. So Unimac from the province, can imagine. So now they win the championship, and then get even the second best speaker to Farabi College, where he gets the best speaker.
So that's just how they expand the chapter.
Yes,
you talk about Unimac and the Well of Parliament for the very first time, but popularization and one challenge that affects plenty of organizations in the country. How do they do for make sure that activities then be well known? Not only on social media, but the traditional media, and even at community level. For instance, what thing happen in the world, maybe get them on video. And since that the young people and lack access to social media, we begin give them teaser, give them videos, pictures of how things on they happen. Now look at una branding.
Yes. We actually don't ensure say because packaging is what we take very serious in ensuring that we programs them, they are well attended and they are well appreciated. Well, it may not be to that level because of I would always want to mention the challenge of finance and what have you, but we don't try our best for say we programs them become so colorful by virtue of advertisements, media engagement, and I tell you, after that debate program, we get the whole sessions right from British Council. We get the first day, the second day na Miata Conference Center, the third day which was the final. Now the Well of Parliament, we get those videos documented, and before now we had them circulated in the different institutions where we participate, and some students even get a copy where they watch the video. It be so colorful, and you go like for watch them over and over, and we get institutions and media institutions that will be even with the play. I'm like SLBC them with the play regularly. So like we actually don't they see our best. We keep in constant touch with the media because this get for do with media publicity
And information are power and it gets a lot of strength.
Yes,
to make
yes.
sure grow more.
Yes, we actually don't they engage in that, and we even appreciate the space. Of course, we start TV and TV and radio. They give you over the years in ensuring that we propagate we ideals as a debating institution. So we actually know complacent about we media engagement. We always try for better way media engagement year in year out.
I'll bring you back one Salami. Okay, look at the International Youth Day celebrations. We talk about education as today part of the Goal 4. Yeah. Now the SDGs from 2050 to 2030. And we'll see how the free quality education. We can compare them and know what's in a benefit the young people them as well. And the celebration will be G's past. This is a youth encounter, and it comes to you live on Star TV on Channel 21. Center for the Coordination of Youth Activities, that's a CCYA, and action enabled in support from European Union Bidon engage the community them across the country on one training called the scorecard and for know how they know the progress so far. Judge Lotsam be traveled in the provinces and bring with this report since again for those youth related activity. Hello? Yeah, Bakish, Nabash. So you might not see no anymore. And then space here, the council, but come on for secure space for person. I don't know, but I didn't space here. If you see again, it's crazy. I get to speak for them, but cool. So when any space for waste, they affect the next program, Okay, bro.
imagine the other guys that we got on turn down for.
Yeah, Coops.
No?
Yeah, this is Nabash.
Bash?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Thank God. You must say you will be there today. I'm not see you. You not call me on that for like give me a heads up. Okay, man. What you say? Okay. Yeah, sorry for them. Sorry for them.
Very interesting, irony. You see, the educational institutions are supposed to support with programs. I will tell you. And where we go to now, they say, well, Minister of Education was supposed to that they cry. Tell me. And interestingly, like they have the contact. If they cannot have the standing form, they can make recommendations out there. But what is the problem?
The idea not come from. Plain thank you to George Elliott Sam as we taking time for going aboard the streets for bringing to Winner Report Day. And we CCYA and Action Aid we don't do with support from their partner with the European Union. Inside the International Youth Day, Salami, we see a lot of celebration, 3 days activities. But the pre-discussion will get you tell me the significance of education. And when you read the entire document them from Africa, you're gonna say education are a step in the right direction for transform the young people their life and surrender to exemption. 1/3 of the country population are youth, over 60% unemployed, with plenty documented. 2004 Education Act, 2016 African Youth Charter, Article 13, Education and Skill Development, the New Direction Manifesto talk about education with all this. So Una own perspective and second debate in council. What are the status of education from Una? And we'll begin to the discussion on the challenges, the good, the bad and the ugly, and say a recommendation before we go.
Thank you so much for that. First, I'd want to observe that our educational system of framework is really fractured, regardless of probably the strides and what have you. But we get to face reality. Now, quite recently, like every year, we see United Nations, of course, here in a part of the United Nations, they celebrate what we call International Youth Day. and August 12th is normally the day set aside every year. So like this year's theme is transforming education. In transforming education, I think it gets to do with a very massive call to the educational stakeholders, them, the government and what have you, those key players, for let them see how best them bring into action whether policies and what have you for make sure say education become much more transformed at the country, much more relevant, accessible and inclusive. These are the things we they look at. So like education has been part of the sustainable development goal 4 is a critical aspect. So like it's no mistake that at this particular material point in time we can see education take the center stage. It's always an emergency for us as a nation for make we see say we educational sector is somewhat being structured in a way where it go actually make young people or the country gets the most of it. Now it's sad to note here now that we educational sector, as I say, really fractured. We educational sector for quite a long time only they prepare graduates them or what have you people for let them become job seekers and not job creators. The call to transform education gets for do with the fact say we need to look at those critical aspects. Let we see how best we fix the system now. And how do we fix the system? Let us go back to the curricula, the educational curricula right across. I tell you, it has to be, a bottom-top approach, right from the preschool to the primary, to secondary, and up there. We need for ensure say we get the educational system frame up in such a way that they begin them, as it is now, they begin them, become much more, like accustomed to modern ways of learning. Now, when you go to the international, for some of us, some of we don't go to the international arena, we represent the country. You see in some of them debate programs, young kids from the primary schools, they do PowerPoint presentation. You probably go feel say nah something just like, but it's not magic. When you begin introduce the picking them, to computer at that early stage, now the world has moved. It's a paradigm shift now, more technologically advanced, and we are a global citizen, and we are part of the global village. We're not able to do without information technology. We're not able to do without the computer now. Let we go back, to them levels, and they begin introduce computer to them picking them. That go back to the government and the stakeholders responsible. Let me ensure say the schools get them facilities there. Computer, I don't think say it costs much these days. You can even go to the government school where they cry. Let me say 3 or 4 computer don't do for thousands of picking where they want to go at one at a time or so by set for let them go get used to it. That is not only the problem for the kids, even in the tertiary institution, we get students and young people way don't they go through the course of so they're not even sabi use computer. Not all man get even email address. All I think in a challenge, to the educational sector. How do we make the educational sector much more relevant? Let we ensure say we revisit the curriculum, the courses, we without any prejudice or with no disrespect to the courses offered in the university. I think say it's high time we began for make we introduce more marketable courses for students. Yeah, because like many times now waiting the students then they offer them and they go accept. But we know how the global trend they move in terms of education. Let us begin to ensure that entrepreneurship education is part of the curricula. We don't get that. Graduates today, come out of the university with good qualification, the language all about, for job. Everybody.
It will take over 6, 7, 10 years in
Yes.
field, get.
Yes.
And it gets over 10,000 of them will come every blessed year.
Oh yes. That is very, very, sad. Because I tell you, each and every one of us, but the problem again, we don't glorify too much of the root model of learning, the cognitive aspect. You probably don't go to your course of studying at the university. Maybe your certification, is very much in place and what have you. And when you come at the universe, the job market, you struggle for job because you believe say waiting that don't go give you as a qualification is just what you have to depend on. You get the ability for engage in skills training. You get the ability for do engage in investment or what have you, entrepreneurship venture. This na a problem for we young people. Everybody they look for that white collar job.
How go do for change the mindset? There are times people living in graduate in and out of the country, they are well to do agriculturists, they are well to do carpenters, and most of them they into this medicine and work. Most of them get them various things they do with skills. There are people with all the masters or the PhD where they get, they don't even do anything when a skill job. And the job market not create space for them, no matter the book where they learn. How go do for help change the narrative?
That is a problem now. Now that's why I say now the educational sector has to be somewhat revisited right from the preschool upward. It's a bottom top approach in that now I tell you you go get the knack for make you probably see business venture, see farming, see perhaps practical art as an alternative. When this thing was introduced to you, some of we still recall wait we learn na primary school. Yeah. All intended. So if them begin to introduce then thing to the beginning, now we are speaking to the next generation of leaders with the camp. Let we say now the primary schools then for instance, let we continue. This thing has been a long time practice, but it has not been effective now the schools them in terms of school garden. Let we ensure say the agricultural science is somewhat being practicalized now schools them. How many schools then still maintain school gardens where they expose picking them to practical?
And in the past, say when it's Saturday, you have to go for you home economics, domestic thing, all things.
Like a challenge now, I'm very much sure of it. So like if we begin go back and revisit all in with the focus for say these things become sustainable. I believe say the one way they come next, I tell you they go always see agriculture, they go always see other form of art and innovation as an alternative, individual alternative for better their lives and contribute to national development. And I tell you now, for instance, we young people they're so excited about fashion and creative, art and what have you. And fashion and creative arts actually now one of the largest employers in the world, especially for women them. If we get young people always so excited, women they're excited about fashion and what it takes the knowledge, that creative knowledge and innovative thinking for even design.
And you never in countries that we get them academy and they in and out. Maybe just one grade A will get over 5.
Yes.
And I hate some
like
students
in
come
Ghana.
back home. Away from all this, now look at another critical point. The internet connectivity. Inside the sub-region, it is one of the most expensive, and it all limits young people the opportunity for do online courses. Maybe you get courses like the ALE, you get courses from career, you get different courses from Allison. Most of them free platform than they. But how many people they access and do it today? Because we depend on megabyte. Unlimited internet is not there. How could do for raise more campaign, more awareness, one for strength education, for get internet connectivity accessible and affordable.
That's a very serious concern in terms of ensuring that we really transform education in this country. Like for now, we can appreciate the quantum leap way the University of Sierra Leone make in ensuring that you register online, you apply online, for get admission to the university. All of these things deal with the internet. Actually, you don't have me house and get me internet connectivity and do the thing. So like with all these improvements, it gets to do with effective and sustainable internet provision. So that goes back to the government. I believe say the government get now a key player in this one. They need for create that kind of conducive atmosphere. They need for create the infrastructure. I tell you, the private sector, well, then they do them part, but it's much to the detriment of young people, especially when you talk about the tariffs and what have you. It costs a lot. The megabytes you get for spend a lot for make you get there. Why is it difficult to make we get free access to internet connectivity to now the educational institutions for PISO? Because students pay fees. Aside that, Learning becomes a very good experience as it is now when we get a technologically, advanced world. We get that sort of, provision of internet connectivity. If I dey get struggle for get internet connectivity na me home, usade and what have you, but I no struggle again when I go na, me school or what have you, me learning institution. These are things that should be there. But I tell you, students face a lot of challenges. Students would have to do research. Research is key for make sure say students keep up to.
And at that point, the point now, even in school and university, for complete the syllabus, now a challenge. I can vividly recall 15 years back, it was difficult. But now I get for look. We, the teachers, and get over 2-3 schools and lessons for attend. The lecturers and get job for do and all. So that means if the internet day more active and affordable, they will do more research.
Do more.
In addition to education for young people, civic education gets a role for play.
Oh yes.
There are people who wait till date, not even know the meaning of Sierra Leone. Not going to tell you the pledge, the national anthem, about patriotism, few history about the country. How would do for incorporate the civic education to the school curricula as you the highlight gist now? Because all the years in, years out, but enough visible and enough forthcoming.
I think that's my very very a legitimate concern if we really are moving forward. Civic education is key. Other countries they actually base their education deeply rooted in that civic education. When you get the consciousness of who you are, your responsibility as a citizen, which you need for do for your country. And many times now, because we lack the knowledge of civic education, that we always want for students wait for like government can do something for it. And perhaps that can make things go wrong in we own affairs as young people. But we have a responsibility for being patriotic. We have a responsibility for contribute to national development. And I tell you, it gets for start again from the bottom. We are always thinking about the next generation of leaders. We are the leaders of today, but what about those who are coming up? The incoming generation would have to prepare a safe space for them. So how do we do this? Get down to the primary school, perhaps preschool, get civic education, let then they become a part of them. And that's not for stop there, you for go to the secondary school and even to the tertiary institution. I tell you, the human resource of this country, if we are to change or develop as a country, if we are to ensure sustainable development, then if we talk about the human resource, we get for drive that change, then we get for talk about the educated folks them. The people who are educated, make no mistake about it, these are the people who would have to drive change. So if that is the case, these are people who would have to be abreast with civic education, civic consciousness. Like you say, the national anthem, a lot of people not even understand dancing in the national pledge. Very short lines, but I mean a lot. How we go able to position ourselves at any circumstance for say we live up to the lines of we national,
We don't get the mindset all the time. What you say, it not concern me, na me right, but most of them forget to responsibility. And the political divide, the ideology is okay. Now we party in a power, and we party not in a power. Seven they affect even the education of young people. I'll tell you say, this free education don't reach now we say you, it don't come over, it don't get quality, it don't come in teachers, they can't teach, they sabotage and everything. But even the social media, a lot of the social media they use them negatively, and some they benefit positively from that. You want of advice on that?
I think say the area of education gets nothing for do with politics. If the problem perhaps hold on they get over the years, the fact that we always see, every sector as, a fertile soil, for make we preach politics, talk politics and drive politics. That should not be the case. Education, the only weapon we'll get, as a nation, for move forward. Now, if we begin see we political actors or state actors them, use education as a political commodity, it become a problem. Yes, there is much glorification about the free education, but how free it is with quality, and how is it has to do with accessibility? How many people them, young people them, where the scheme they for really able access them without any consideration to region, tribe, and what have you. We dey face serious challenge in that. So I dey appeal to the governments and stakeholders them, let them remove education from political gimmicks and what have you. Everybody, it's a right for everybody. We are happy, but we are not too excited that the free education scheme is being rolled out. Where you parents, provide you food, clothing, and shelter. You should be pleased, you should be proud, but you should not be overexcited as if, it's your right. So we believe, say, much as the free education come at a point in time where I believe, say, Sierra Leoneans, need them, let we try for ensure, say, back this free education gets, that sort of inclusiveness, let it be accessible and let it be free, from any form of polarization. We get certain set of people then where I believe, say, perhaps not, they live up to the true, meaning of being a very good citizen, where they use the free education, as a political tool, as a political commodity. This not for be the case. Be you black or white, Jew or Gentile, in terms of the government, I'm talking about the scholarship, government scholarship. We not for prejudice. Let everybody we qualify, or everybody we it means for letting get them by virtue of qualification and merit. We get for look at all events in a day. The schools are in the province, inside in the region. They need for benefits from free education. It doesn't matter the government where they in power or the party where they in governance. Let we ensure, say, the educational sector, if we they begin getting right as a nation, honestly, if we say we remove politics from education.
So in a simple one, equal opportunity for everybody.
Equal opportunity. And it should be inclusive. Even the disabled, I tell you, the physically challenged, the visually impaired, and the kind and what have you, all of these people should take pleasure in benefiting from this scheme. They should not be left out. So government need for put mechanism in place for ensure, say, there is this sort of inclusivity of all set of people.
I'll bring you back and we'll go to wrap up shortly. This is a Youth Encounter. It comes to you live on the Star TV on Channel 21. And I still get now the student Mohamed Salami, the National Secretary for the Sierra Leone Debating Council. We'll go for a quick break. Let's take the Youth Encounter montage. And when I come back, we'll wrap up the program for today.
The discussion will go well.
Yeah, it's good. We'll wrap up now.
Yeah.
We'll share your social media handles there, man. How somebody will keep in touch with the council.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome back. You're still about Youth Encounter live here on the Star TV on Channel 21. Alright, Salami, with the wrap up now. What thing will be you closing the message? And I know we don't get a very fruitful discussion here. And one for now, we'll keep in touch with you, particularly the Sierra Leone Debating Council. And what next for now?
The Sierra Leone Debating Council, I was so to say, so appreciate this moment with you in this formidable platform. And in May closing, I want for again touch on the aspect of transforming education, and in line with the International Youth Day, celebration. I think, say, we again get for call on we government stakeholders them. Let they ensure, say, the job market is properly fixed. We need to really fix the job market, the civil service commission and what have you. Let we ensure, say, there is more of specialization in terms of recruitment into the job market, be private or public. Let we really work on that. We see many times people where probably go find themselves in certain field and upon graduation would probably get to find himself in a strange environment at the job market. You cannot fathom that.
So they go land inside the job and it costs the country a lot.
Yes.
So quick one on a social media handles and private university
It
go.
is square pegging around also.
Yeah.
Let me try to fix the job market. So like my last word, I want to like call on government and other critical stakeholders for CCA. They embrace the call for transform education. And I tell you, one way they ensure say we transform education as a debating institution have to provide that sort of platform where go make young people realize their true potential. So as a debating institution, we can be contacted at any time. You can check 28 Charlotte Street, or you can call us 078 189290 or 077 494 68686.
And also on Facebook is the Sierra Leone Debating Council,
Facebook,
right?
Sierra Leone Debating Council, or you can email us sierraleonedebatingcouncil@gmail.com. So we want for appreciate this platform again, and we hope for engage young people in this country via this same platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining inside the program today. And I'm Mohamed Salami, and I'm the National Secretary for the Sierra Leone Debating Council. Thank you to the rest of the production team, the guys and behind the technical team. Thank you so much to Saidu, to Abdullah, and also to Ezekiel Cabo, and executive producer Mr. Philip Neville, and me don't be one presenter Mohamed Basiru Sanusi. Good talk, Philip. Don't tell you say the chief to make law way in our take. Get a wonderful and blessed weekend, and be safe, and keep watching Star TV on Channel 21. Until then, I've been your host, Bash, and have a wonderful and blessed day.
Sierra Leone's ever-growing youthful population still continues to grapple with high rates of unemployment and other challenges. Despite the enormous challenges, young people are still working on realizing their potential. With emerging entrepreneurs and innovators, Youth Encounter on Star Television and Radio is a program that showcases successful young people, discuss the challenges, and provide recommendations. Join Mohamed Basiru Sanusi PM. It's Youth Encounter on Star TV on Channel 21.